Is everyone ready? Okay, thank you. First and foremost, thank you for being here today. We're here to inform our city, our communities of their New Orleans Police Department's accomplishments thus far. While there's still much work to be done, there's much that they should be proud of. The murder of George Floyd has shocked and disgusted our country. People are calling for an end to systematic racism, and frankly, so are we as a department. People are calling for a wholesale change in what policing looks like in America. But in New Orleans, we are all well ahead of the curve when it comes to effective police reform and the commitment to constitutional policing. We have come a long way since the unfortunate Danziger Bridge tragedy. Our people were confronted then with the absolute need for reform and change, and for reform that yield results. The New Orleans Police Department has delivered those results, and our community, as well as the millions of visitors to our beautiful city, has benefited. We are committed to constitutional policing. We are committed to training. And last but definitely not least, we are committed to improving our protection for our community and holding ourselves accountable. This is what our community, as well as our country, is asking for. And that is why it is so important that we hold fast to effective police reforms. The comprehensive reforms we have been engaged in for the last 8 years speak of many of the policies being called for across the country. Ban on chokeholds, ban on strangleholds. We have that, and we have been having that in our policy since 2015. We require de-escalation. This is the bedrock of our constitutional policing philosophy and our department's culture. We have an absolute duty to intervene. That is a part of our EPIC training. Ethical policing is courageous, which makes it the responsibility of every officer to step in and intervene and hold their colleagues accountable. We have a ban on shooting and moving vehicles. We have established a use of force continuum, which has been in place also since 2015. We require all force to be reported. New Orleans Police Department's use of force criteria is spelled out explicitly, and it is rigorously reviewed to ensure full accountability for all officers. We require a warning before shooting whenever possible, and we also require that we exhaust all alternatives before using force. These reforms and transformation of our department have been instituted with tangible progress to keep our community safe. For the last several years, we have experienced a reduction in violent crimes in New Orleans, with a historic low in homicide just last year, the lowest since 1971. The data is clear. Our police force is able to make our city safer while embracing progressive reform and committing wholeheartedly to constitutional policing. And that is why we're here today, to make sure that our community is educated and well aware how well ahead of the curve we are as a department, we are as a city. And with that, I will answer any questions. Ken?
How do you guys feel like these reforms have helped in handling the demonstrations?
It has been instrumental. Because of these reforms, we have been able to establish a relationship with our community. And in having that relationship, we have been able to have peaceful protests. Even when we had some incidents that may have arrived, we were able to de-escalate them so we would not have the issue that you are seeing across the country.
Do you know the issue? You mentioned that these were already starting to be implemented prior to what's being asked about police forces across the country. Did you feel the need to inform the public on that in light of what's been going on here in the city and across the country?
Absolutely. That is what I've learned throughout this entire process over the last couple of weeks. As I have been asked, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? And I had to inform those individuals or those groups that, in fact, we were. But unfortunately, they were not informed or they were not aware. So I have made it my primary responsibility, along with my public information team, that we educate our community and make them full aware of what it is that we're doing, and not just with these 8 points, but other things with regards to our video release policy, which is a volunteer policy in which we release video critical incidents, and other things such as the body-worn cameras. There are so many things that this department has been doing that has kept us well ahead of the curve that unfortunately our public does not know, and it is my job to make sure that they are informed.
Will you be implementing new policies?
We're always looking for opportunities to improve. We will always do that. So in the very near future, you may see some. So we just have to continue to work as we work with our counterparts across the country to identify the best practices. Starting with one, we're looking at protests and engaging in protests, and how are we looking at that? How should we go about moving forward with that as a result of the unfortunate June 3rd incident? I would say with that, we are starting to internalize a policy. But as we talk to our counterparts across the country, there's no clear written policy with regards to dealing with protests, with regards to deploying tear gas. But as such, we're starting to internalize what we could possibly do better or differently. But that conversation is not going to just be had internally. We're working with the Department of Justice. We're working with our monitors, independent as well as federal monitors, as well as our community. So we will be reaching out to various community groups to get their input as well, because we do want to provide a better service to our citizens.
Yeah, I think the city council was considering, I don't know if they voted on it yet, but a resolution to create a public-facing database for the independent police monitor. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if you had thoughts on that.
So we still have to review that because a lot of our information that we already have, the independent monitor already have as well. So we have a great relationship with the independent monitor. It's just a matter of what more should they have access to, and that is something that's in progress right now.
Chief,
Yes.
The 2019 use of force report hasn't been posted to the department's website. You know when that's coming up?
We're still working on it. As you remember, sometime mid-December, we had the cyber incident. As such, we're still recovering, believe it or not. We're still recovering from that. So some things we did not have access to. We just most recently began to get access to a lot of those databases that would allow us to give that information to the public.
And can you know, it'd be great to be able to kind of compare New Orleans to other cities in terms of fatal encounters involving the police. Do you have that number for New Orleans for 2019?
Not with me right now. I would be able to get it. I can get it for you, but it's, again, a lot of that stuff is in the database. But we should be able to have that. The fatal encounter is what you're asking for. We should be able to get that. Just don't have it on me right now.
Questions?
Just one more.
Yes,
Are there
ma'am.
any specific reforms that you've learned from other departments that you guys are considering implementing?
Not just yet. I mean, this is the very beginning stages of these conversations, and as you've seen, unfortunately, across the country, just as we thought we were going to be able to slow down and look at what it is that we were doing, or what could we be doing differently, we're starting to see like a little second wave as a result of the tragic incident in Atlanta. So this is the beginning stages. This is not anything that's going to happen overnight. This will take some time, a vetting process, especially with regards to having a conversation with our community and see what it is that they're expecting of us.
Yeah, I have a couple more. One, I'm wondering what you make of calls for defunding the police, going beyond kind of internal reforms to kind of actually limiting the size of the department. And then also, the department put out a tweet like, I don't know, last week saying that 6 of the 8 count reforms were adopted, and then, you know, several days later, the mayor put out a tweet saying all 8 were. I think that the 2 were warning before shooting and exhausting all options, and I'm wondering if you can explain that discrepancy.
Okay, with regards to the defunding, we as a department, we as a city, have been strapped financially for years. So we've been working with what we have, not just the New Orleans Police Department with various other departments throughout our city government. The mayor as well as the council have been, I think, very intentional and strategic with investing in services such as youth and family services and things of that nature to make sure that these various departments are receiving the help that is needed financially to help better serve our citizens. But we as a department, it would be a big blow to us because you're looking at well over 80% of our finances or our budget is personnel. So where exactly, and that would be a tough decision if I had to make one. It would be a tough decision for me to make at this time. I mean, you're looking at overtime. We've already cut overtime. We cut overtime. We cut millions of dollars in overtime. That happened a couple of months ago, and we're still trying to deal with that, and figure out a way how we can still be intentional with our deployment. So that's going to be a work in progress. I just hope that it does not happen, but I have to just be the leader of this organization to make those tough decisions when need be necessary. With regards to the 6 of 8 as opposed to the 8 of 8, there's a misunderstanding as to what we actually had with regards to I think the demand was give a warning, but I think someone did not realize that we had that warning in our policy at that time. So we had to make sure, and that was sent out. That was something I would assume responsibility of. We should have just made sure that all the information was given, but nevertheless, we have all 8, and it has been in effect for quite some time, for years, not like recently. It didn't happen last week. This has been in effect for years, and you can see that on our websites, NOPD.news, NOPD News, as well as NOLA.gov. So it has been in effect.
Any more questions?
One more question.
Yes, sir.
We happen to have an update on the criminal investigation over on the 5 officers from the French Quarter search and arrest.
No, that's still under investigation. That takes some time, given what we're dealing with. So that is still under investigation.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you all. Have a good one.